All right, I think we got it. Hi, everybody. My name's Robert, and this is the first video in my new channel. I'm aiming for this to be a more personal type of vlog. Finding more recently that I have a little bit I'd like to say, I'd like to share with others, and trying to find the best way to do that. So as far as I go, let's see, I don't consider myself to be very interesting per se, but I have been through some experiences in life, and I really, I've always felt like I wanted to use my experiences to kind of help people and help others that had maybe going through the same thing that I went through a long time ago. I'm 40 something years old now, but when I was younger, I went through a lot of things, and I did a lot of things a lot differently than everyone else at that time. I had, I guess, just everything up front. When I was 15, I got married, had a daughter. My wife at the time, my daughter's mother, was 14. That's how I found out that 14 was the youngest that you can get married in Texas, which I don't think that should be allowed at all, ever. Like, that's just ridiculous. But either way, and so summer of freshman year of high school, that's when I found out that we were gonna have a baby. And so I really don't know where to start, honestly. Long story, got divorced 4 years later, got married again 1 year later, got divorced 4 years later, married again 3 years later, 2 years later, something like that. And that one kind of stuck. And, I'm still married now. And, but I don't consider myself to be the ideal place to find relationship advice. But when I was growing up, there wasn't other teenage parents, and I find that there are a lot now. My wife watches a lot of TV shows where there's like Unexpected, I think was the name of one of the shows she watches, when it's just like all these teenage parents, and where it's like a normal kind of thing now to get pregnant at 16, 17, 15, and there's nothing, like, I'm not gonna say there's nothing wrong with it. I really think that ideally it's better to wait. But if you find yourself in that situation, I don't think there's anything bad about it necessarily. That doesn't mean that your life is over. It just means that it's different. My life's been different ever since I was 15 years old. I didn't have the opportunity to grow like a typical young kid. I just had to be responsible and work and provide for a family that I had now. And it was just a lot of a lot of different things, which I'm going to kind of go through in this vlog. It's weird to say, um, but you know, I guess the most I could impress upon this first video is that if you find yourself in this situation where you are maybe pregnant, or you're the father of somebody that's pregnant, and no, it doesn't work out like that. You're not the father of somebody that's pregnant. You're the father in the situation of being pregnant. I don't know. I think there's some other things that I forgot to mention too. I have ADHD. I have I'm autistic. I'm a form of Asperger's, and I can kind of be all over the place. And I'm really just found out that I'm both of those things probably about four years ago, and it's really trying to explore that as well. That's been kind of what I've been going through recently. But back to what I was saying, like if you're, I don't know, if you find yourself in the situation where you're going to have a child, there we go, that's it, where you're going to have a child, you know, I guess, man, just like speaking to a dad or a potential dad, like grow up, be responsible. You know, there's not any more. You're not going to be going out and partying, man. It's like your life is now for that child, and that's a hard pill to swallow. It is, and believe me, I in my journey in my life, I've rebelled against those basic ideas a lot of different times, in a lot of different ways. You know, I guess what I want to impress upon anybody really is that there's always hope that things will work out. You know, even if you don't have everything right now, you don't have all the answers right now, even if you're just struggling to freaking put a meal on the table or keep the lights on, you know, I've been there, and it sucks. When I was growing up, when I first had my daughter, it was 1996, and she's grown now, actually. If you can do the math, she's like 27 years old now. And but back then, you know, shoot, I was 15 years old. Everywhere I would apply to, like, I wouldn't even get a call back. Like I would put in an application. Back then, you had to go into the place and fill out an application on paper, and go drop it off with the manager, and just wait for a call back, and shoot, nothing. And I would apply at Minyard's grocery store. I would apply at like I always felt like I had an affinity for like electronics and computers and stuff, so I would apply at like Office Depot. And I remember going to a job fair for Six Flags. Shoot, a lot. I had to end up working construction. The only reason I could do that was because my dad owned he was a bricklayer, and he did his own construction, and I worked with him. So 15 on up, I mean, I was working construction in some form or another. Unskilled, of course, so just labor. Just as a labor, I think I made $6 an hour, $7 an hour. No, probably like $6 an hour. Because that was just it. I couldn't do anymore. I couldn't, like, I didn't have a degree. I didn't have any skills really, and I was a young kid. And you take what you can get, and I did. I took everything I could get. I used to work to some point in my life, probably when I was about 17. That's when I started getting able to get a job somewhere else, like outside of construction, because I realized a long time ago that, man, I didn't want to be doing that every day. It was hard. And but shoot, I'm freaking blessed that I had that opportunity to do that, because those skills that I learned with my dad's passed away now, but those skills that I learned with my dad have carried over into my career now. Um, I own my own company now. I'm a managed service provider for IT, and we provide support and IT and cybersecurity related stuff for other companies. But in a lot of what we do, it can be manual type of work, like running cable, running Ethernet, running networks. And like when I got into this space as an adult, I was able to pull from a lot of that stuff that I had learned with my dad, and I was comfortable on a job site, and comfortable with just that whole experience, because that's where I grew up in. So I didn't know it then, and I freaking hated waking up every morning. Like I don't like mornings typically, and I hated waking up every morning to get up and go outside and go to work, go shovel sand and carry bricks and make cement and all that, and I had to do it, you know. Um, you got to do what you got to do, kind of. Um, so I think I'm getting way too long, and I just want to I wanted to keep this one kind of short, um, but there's going to be more, because I got a lot to say. I got a lot of stories to tell, and I just want to help. Like, I'm not telling anybody about this. One thing, I'm not telling my family. I'm not telling my daughter, which I'm going to be talking about a lot, I think, in great ways, because she's an amazing human. I'm not telling my wife or my immediate family, because I want this to be, no one's ever heard this, what I'm going to go into. And it's just me, really, yeah. And so, yeah, I think that's about it for now. So I hope I get to talk to you again. And thanks. Bye.